There is nothing special about this board. Nothing. Like, nothing.
There's nothing special
There's
about it. But I feel like you're
Looks like we
dodging
will.
my question, which is ouya a scam?
Are there any developers in the room that have built a game for ouya or have it running?
Really not.
All right, and welcome back, everyone, to another great episode of the Retro and Remastered podcast. Today, as always, I'm joined by my co-host, K-Ray.
What up, everybody? What up?
And today, we just want to, do a little bit of talking like normal. The Game Awards just ended. Neither one of us really watched it all that much.
Nope.
I think for the most part, the community doesn't really give it a ton of validation unless they're kind of looking to validate their own opinion kind of thing. I don't know. I guess in the end, I'm just kind of glad that Tsushima at least won Player's Choice. I wish Doom had gotten some stuff, but...
After you sent me the list, I was like, bruh, Last of Us swept a lot of things.
Yeah.
I didn't see Ori on there either.
Nah, I don't think Ori won a single thing on it.
I didn't even see it in the category.
I think it was on something. I can't remember. It might have been for art design or something like that. I know Last of Us took that one too, which the game looks good.
Yeah,
I guess you could say good. It had great art direction.
They got good art direction, good soundtrack. It was a story for me.
This is gonna be a lighter episode, an easier one. We kind of talked about a console and we talked about a really popular game and kind of went super in depth with it. And I want something that's going to hopefully be easier to edit. So we're just going to sit here and rank not our favorite, but just like rank all the different game consoles that have come up. So as you look on screen, you can see it's ranked S to F, followed by never played, and then what is this? What is this just applies to like if you've never seen this console or never heard of this console or can't figure it out. Never played. It's just like it's if you've never actually used one of these consoles and you're not comfortable ranking it. But if you look up on screen, we'll have K-Ray stuff over here on the left, and mine will be here on the right. So you ready to get going with this?
I am ready.
Okay. So let's just go ahead and start with this first one. We have the 3DO.
The what?
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and drop that one in. What is that for K-Ray? So the 3DO was made by like Panasonic, and I think it was heavily supported by EA or it was partially funded by EA. And it was a failed console. There was nothing really that great on it. I know it had Gex and it had the original Road Rash on it. And I think Need for Speed started out on the 3DO.
Okay. I've never played it. Okay, but I know what it is now.
Okay, I can move it up to the never played section for you. Unless you've seen like enough footage that you can give an opinion on it.
Not enough that my memory recalls it.
Okay. Yeah, I've never played one, and from what I'm told, emulating it is, kind of trash and difficult. So my experience with it, I'm not comfortable dropping it in anything. So we have the next one, which is the Atari 2600.
Where would you rank the Atari?
I'll drop it in there real quick. It's like E. It's an E. Like I don't view it as like a trash console, but really it's kind of one of those ones that's old enough for me that like I never grew up with it, and even by the time I did get to play it, it was too old for me. And I've played some like emulation of some games, and it had some good games on it, but it's nothing that I'd say really held my interest. And I have no nostalgia for it, but I don't think it's necessarily bad.
And would F be considered bad?
Yeah, F would be considered bad.
Okay, then I'll do E. I don't think it was bad. It wasn't in my timeline.
So the next one is the 5200. That was their second console. I always get it confused with the 5200 and the 7200 because I'm one of those people, I don't remember a console. I remember its controller more than anything. Since neither of these images contain their, respective controller, I have no idea. I've never played it.
I'm gonna put it on never played because I don't know which one that is.
Same, like I've never played it. I would imagine it'd be like playing any other Atari. Now we move on to it's the Atari 7800, which I know that came out around the same time as the Nintendo, but it still graphically was about on par with the normal Atari. And from what if I'm thinking of the right thing, I know its controller was trash.
And that's not the Atari Jaguar, correct?
No, that's going to be the next one.
Okay. I don't think I played that one either, so I'm gonna put that on never played.
Same. All right, now it's the one you brought up, the Atari Jaguar.
Okay, I do remember that one.
Now, I'll say for me, like, I had a family friend that had one of these. I don't know, like, I know it was sold as like a powerhouse, but every game I played on it wasn't too much better than I'd say like a Sega CD or a Sega Saturn. Like, I know
Um,
I played it after I had gotten a PlayStation. And
I'm
outside of,
thinking. Go continue. Sorry.
I was gonna say outside of a version of Alien versus Predator on it, that's the only thing that stands out. And I don't think that they put the CD add-on on here.
Wasn't Doom on there too?
Doom was on it also, but from what I'm told, it wasn't a very good version of it.
I'm thinking I'm gonna go with E.
Okay, so I'll drop it in. And I'm still thinking with mine because like what I played on it, like some of these games, like I'm not gonna lie, when I played them, I was like, I played this on my Genesis, so of course it's gonna play well.
Yeah.
But I don't remember its controller being super comfortable. It had like 3 buttons and a number pad, and I hate that. I don't. And since he didn't include the CD add-on for it, I would say like by itself, I would give it like a D, and the CD add-on I would throw in under F. So I'm just gonna average the two together and just throw it under E.
All right.
Make it. I'll say this: the 2600 is slightly better than the Jaguar, in my opinion. So
All right. What's that next one?
that is the Atari Lynx. That was their handheld. That was
I
trying
didn't play
to compete
that,
with
so
the
you can
game.
go ahead and throw that on. I didn't play it.
All right, I've never played one either. It is something that's on my list of stuff to get because I've been told it has some good games on it. But yeah, I've never actually played one. I know it had 2 models, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh, it's a portable console, but it's about the size of and weighs as much as a brick. So like, I just remember there was a commercial for it where the kid's like, yeah, I got this, and he like pulls open his jacket pocket, and it's barely fitting inside of it.
You didn't even send me that.
I'll send that to you. I'll probably post a little clip of it in the video too.
Mr. Block, can I go to the bathroom?
2 minutes.
Oh, yes! Good there. Oh, yes, yes! Let me the tip. Oh, yes, yes! Oh! Right!
Introducing Lynx from Atari, the color video game you can get away with. Well, sometimes.
All right. What's the next one?
That's the Atari XE. That's like their gaming computer kind of thing.
Yeah, I didn't play that either. It's gonna be a whole lot never played.
Never played it. I was never like a PC kid. Intellivision, the original Intellivision. I'm gonna throw mine out there. I actually kind of like some of the
The
games. I played.
79,
The 79. What do you mean?
the one that came out in 1979.
I have no clue when it came out. I played like some ROMs of it and I actually kind of enjoyed the stuff on it. I just know it was a system with a number pad on it.
Didn't that have like Donkey Kong and stuff, bump and jump?
I think it had that, and I think it had no, it didn't have Pitfall, I don't think, or it might have had Pitfall. I have a really hard time remembering what games were unique to what system, especially when like I know for a fact Intellivision and ColecoVision released an add-on that let you play Atari games on it.
I think when that. I don't think. Yeah, I'm not gonna count this one on mine. I'm gonna put it on never played because I never like I've seen people play it,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never like played it.
The only examples I've had, and it's kind of like a 7800, is I used to go to like flea markets a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like every store in a flea market had an Intellivision and an Atari 2600, and you could buy it and like 20 games, but they would want like $100 for it, so nobody ever bought it. But yeah, the little bit I remember playing on it was actually kind of fun. This next one, I think it's an Apple. I have no clue what it is, to be completely honest. It just looks like a keyboard to me, and I don't recognize it enough.
Right. So, can you put that under what is this for me?
I'm gonna do the same. Now I know this next one is a ColecoVision, or not a ColecoVision, a Commodore 64.
Bro, I haven't heard that name in so long. But once again, I don't know if I played that.
Yeah, I've never played anything on it either. I do know that they put out a mini, which I think is what this second one is. But again, I'm not sure. I can tell you right now it is a Commodore 64, but I don't know if they had an upgraded computer or if that's meant to be the Commodore Mini that
Mhm.
just came out last year. I mean, unless you know what it is, I don't know.
Nope.
All right, so I'm gonna drop that in under mine. I'm gonna drop it in under what's this? Did you want to do never played or what's this?
Uh, let's do what's this?
All right. One I'm excited for is the Dreamcast.
The good old Dreamcast. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Is that did Sega Dreamcast kind of compete with or am I pushing it too early? When did PlayStation 2 come out?
I'm bad with years.
No, they came out in the 2000s. I think the Dreamcast came. Oh yeah, it did because it was like 2 years earlier. Okay. Damn, I like the Dreamcast. So I got Shimu on
You mean that incredibly overrated game?
there. Hey. Not originally, all right.
Yeah. For its time, it was amazing. I still plan on streaming all three of them.
Give me a second. I'm thinking.
So yeah, the Dreamcast came out in 1998. So yeah, it was before the PS2, but that was basically its competitor at that
Yeah.
point. And
So I know it didn't have, I guess, what they like to call the might of the PS2.
no, but I mean, it did a lot of.
Western developer support.
I don't like usually saying this because I think it's kind of a cop-out answer for things, but it's like saying that it was kind of ahead of its time. Like it had really good 3D, but they still hadn't quite figured out how to do it right. It had the ability to play online. There just wasn't really enough to do it besides Phantasy Star and Quake Arena.
Fantasy
It
Star.
it it had some really good first-person shooters, but it was well before we figured out how to do first-person shooter games on a console.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a lot of stuff on it that I liked, but what really held it back, in my opinion, was that controller. I love the Dreamcast. I
What you
absolutely
thinking of
hate.
C?
No, I'm gonna throw it under a B.
B, I knew it.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it under a B for me. Like it would, if the controller was better, then I would say an A. And
I had fun with
if
it.
we got a bunch of the games that only released in Japan, I would knock that up to an S tier. Like I still support the Dreamcast. I buy some of the indie developed games that still come out for it, and I bought two of the new controllers by Retro Fighter that actually make the thing comfortable to use. Like if I'm using a Retro Fighter controller, I'll knock it up to an A. But just base what you get with it, it's a solid B for me.
I'm thinking B minus C. So I'm trying to see where I want to put it. Either B or C.
I mean, either way, you're gonna upset someone. So,
I guess I'll go with a B then.
all right.
What's
Okay,
next?
that's the Fairchild Channel F.
The what?
The Fairchild Channel F.
What the hell
Uh,
is that?
it was another very early game console. It came out now, if I'm understanding it right, it was in development prior to the Atari, but it came out after the Atari.
So I already got
And
my answer.
and it never there's like a lot of stuff going back and forth whether it was technically like the first cartridge based console or something like that. I always make the argument if you didn't come out first, it doesn't matter if you were in development first, you are not the first.
That is true.
And I'm also under the argument that the Odyssey technically had the first cartridges, even though they were more like little circuit boards that kind of told the system what to do. So that's just my, opinion. I think it did kind of get screwed over, but I've never played it.
I've
So
never played it, but throw this under what is this for me?
so these ones they've kind of put them in a weird order. Did you want to start with the GBA or did you want to jump back to the original Game Boy?
That's Drum Deck to the original.
Okay.
I don't know. This one probably gonna get people mad because I got a lot of like nostalgia and memories, which make it. So are we ranking it based on how it functioned? Are we ranking it based on?
That's up to you. It's however you feel the system ranks.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw the and this is gonna get people mad, but I'm gonna throw the old big fat one. I'm gonna throw him higher than your Genesis. I mean your Dreamcast.
Oh, you're gonna put it in the A?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw him in the A.
Okay, yeah. For me, nah,
You're gonna do us.
it's gonna be my first one. It's going right in the C tier. Like I owned one as a kid. I played it a lot. But if I'm being 100% honest, I didn't own a lot of games for it, and predominantly it was a Pokemon machine for me.
Yeah, it was a Pokemon
And
game for me too. Actually, I think I had the other one better though. So let's move that to a B then.
oh, okay, would you put it before or after the Dreamcast?
After.
Okay. It here's the thing, like I think the original Game Boy is super important for what it is,
Yeah,
but unless you are like buying one now for pure nostalgia or to throw like a backlight and mod the hell out of it, there are better ways to play original Game Boy games now.
that's true.
But I think it definitely deserves to be at least C tier for me. Let's go into the next one. I think that's supposed to be a Game Boy Color.
I'll throw it in a B.
Okay. Above or below the
Above.
okay. It's gonna go in B with me also. Like it had some good games on it. I played it way more than the original Game Boy, but again, it kind of boiled down to being a Pokemon machine for me.
Yeah, it was a Pokemon machine for me too.
And it was great
And
because
I
it
was the
had battery
greatest.
life. He was the best. No one
Like,
ever.
the
That's the
catch
most
fit
I know
was
of that
my
song.
real test. And the training was my cause.
But like, I think the only other game that blew me away on that, and I didn't even play it until they finally released it digitally, was Shantae. And I had a lot of fun with that game.
I don't even think I played that.
It's solid, and I love that Way Forward has made like five more of them in the last two generations. But yeah, it's a good console. I consider it better than the normal Game Boy, but it hasn't quite reached where I consider it to be great. You ready to move on to the next one?
Yep.
All right, so we got the Game Boy Advance.
Was it really advanced though?
I mean, it was basically a portable Super Nintendo. Well, K-Ray can't decide. I'm gonna throw mine in A. I dumped a lot of time into the Game Boy Advance, and it wasn't just a Pokemon machine for me. And I don't know if they have it on here at all. They just continued to make that system better. Like that original launch one was comfortable, but didn't have a screen, didn't have whatever. And by the time the SP came out, we had backlight, we had some great games on it. Still get some great games released on it by like the indie scene. I personally love this thing.
Okay, let me think.
Carrie's gonna throw it in the F tier.
What was that?
Said you're gonna throw it in the F tier.
No. I'm just trying to remember what I played on there.
Pokemon.
I actually don't think I played Pokemon on Game Boy Advance.
I never played any of the advanced ones either. You had Zelda Four Swords on it. Um, or I don't know if it was technically Four Swords. It was basically Link Between Worlds. It had an OK Contra game on it.
Okay, I know why. Because
Mm.
I didn't own one, so I played my friends.
Okay.
That's why.
Had the great RPG Golden
But
Sun
I had
on it.
fun on it. You know what? I'll
Mhm.
throw it up in that A column.
Okay.
I did have fun with that one. I had to look it up real quick. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I didn't own that one. That's why.
Okay. Okay.
You know,
So it's
broke
back
little
in.
kid.
What'd you say?
So just a little broke little kid.
I had to save up for like 2 years to buy mine, and then by the time it came out, the SP had released, and I was still broke. So I was like, "Well, I guess I'm buying the original one." And I'd start dumping batteries and having to basically sit
Oh
like
my
in my window in
gosh.
order to see that screen.
I can tell you a funny story about
Okay.
batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so little disclaimer out there. I was young and dumb. But I remember I went to a certain establishment, not saying that establishment's name, and I had these big old jackets on, these pants with like 1,001 pockets. And I literally went through like 4 or 5 aisles because they used to have at the end of the aisles they'll just have like batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll just open up the battery thing and pour right in my jacket. I literally had a drawer full of new batteries. It was ridiculous. And I was like, yo, I ain't gonna never need to go to the store again. I got all the batteries in the world to play on these Game Boys and whatnot. And one day I came to get some batteries and the whole drawer was empty. My grandma threw it away thinking it was old batteries. I was like, no, all that work. So I guess karma came back quickly, but yeah, you just made me remember that because I forgot. Like the big Game Boy took like 4 batteries.
Yeah. And then they shrunk it down. I think the Pocket or the Color took AAA batteries, but I don't know. I was the kid that kept pissing off my parents because every time I needed batteries for my Game Boy, I would steal them from the TV remote.
That's why I went and stole them from someone else. But I digress.
You feel remorse for it, so now every time you go to the store, you buy an extra pack of batteries. I get it.
Every time I buy batteries now, that's what I think of. Like I just bought like 2 humongous packs of batteries, and I'm like, yo, many years ago.
Be like, I still would have these batteries. I wouldn't
still
be
would have them.
needing. Yeah, I wouldn't be needing to buy these if Grandma hadn't thrown them out. So the next one's the Game Gear.
The Game Gear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I own that one. I don't think I played it either.
I never owned one. I knew someone that had one. You only dropped yours under never played?
Yeah, so I
Okay.
never played that one.
I knew someone that had one, and so we're gonna go into like story time again real quick.
Go ahead.
So everyone basically had a Game Boy that, well, I'm not gonna say everybody had one, but pretty much if you had like a portable game console, you owned a Game Boy. That's safe to say for the most part. And I just remember like all the kids like at school, they would be like playing Pokemon or whatever during like lunch or something like that. And there was always that like one kid who had a like Game Gear and kept wanting to talk about, oh, it's great. It's got like Sonic and it's got like a backlit screen. You don't need to stand in light to it. And it's like you can do this, you can play this, you can do this. It's got this great like RPG that's set in like Persia, and it was kind of interesting. But then the response is, well, does it have Pokemon? No, nobody cares then.
Yeah.
And I think the thing like munched up batteries like crazy. I I know there's like an add-on for the Sega Master System that let you play Game Gear games, and the Retron that I have can support that add-on. So I do want to start playing some Game Gear games. I just don't know if I ever actually want to own a Game Gear because they like the capacitors go bad and your screen goes bad. And it just feels like I can get a system for like 40, $50 and then I'm gonna have to dump like 100 and some odd dollars into it to get someone else to repair it for me. So the little bit of I played on it, that was uh, like I'm gonna throw it in E tier, but I did enjoy it more than those other two.
Okay.
So let's see, what's this next one? The GameCube.
That GameCube, man. I don't know why I don't see the other ones in there, but I think I found my first S tier.
Really?
I enjoyed the GameCube, yeah.
I enjoyed it later
You're
on.
probably gonna put it with A.
See, you're thinking I'm rating it way higher than I might, but
What? I enjoyed the GameCube, yeah.
I think I'm getting some like that nostalgia bug for it where I want to play some GameCube games, but the thing is that when I owned a GameCube, I can count on like one hand how many GameCube games I actually owned.
Was that because you're a broke little kid like me, or?
No, it's because I owned an Xbox and a PlayStation 2.
Well, see, that's cheating. No, that should not play a part. And where you rank the GameCube?
Well, it's because I'm just thinking of it like exclusives wise. Like I've never been like a big Mario kid.
You didn't play like Super Smash Brothers?
I am tier trash when it comes to like Smash Bros. And whatnot.
Metroid, Zelda, Mario Kart, Luigi's Mansion, like
Basically, here's the thing. I like Luigi's Mansion. That's actually one I'm currently playing. Is the new Luigi's Mansion.
Twin Snakes.
You're naming a bunch of games that I've played, but I never felt the need to own for some reason.
Oh my god.
And that's the thing. Like, I like Twin Snakes, but for some reason, I still enjoyed the original PlayStation game more.
Can we can we
Hmm?
get some F's in chat when y'all see this on YouTube?
Like, I think it's getting the love it needs. It has one of my favorite controllers. I'm not gonna lie there, but it's kind of
Oh, you hurt my soul here.
I don't know. Like, I played Wind Waker, and Wind Waker is one of my favorite Zelda games,
You hurt my
and
soul.
it had like essentially the GameCube was a Resident Evil box for me. Like, I had the remake, I had Zero, I had Four,
I've
but
heard.
the moment I had the chance to upgrade to a Wii, I ended up doing it, and whatever. You were right though. I'm gonna throw it under A. It was a solid console. I'll put it right there above the GBA for me.
Oh yeah, you did have two in A.
Well, I do now.
I mean one in A.
Yeah.
One before, yeah.
I may be critical, but I don't try to hate on everything.
What do we have next though?
I think that's just supposed to be a PC.
Man. Like when I was playing PC, it was like, and I'm showing my age here, it was like Oregon Trail.
I played that, and it was like Math Blaster.
I was just about to say it's a math game.
Like, when I was in school, we still had like Apple IIs.
Yeah, we did too.
So, I mean, they've grown, I guess, as like a whole. Like, I mean, it had Doom, it had Quake for the longest time. Those were where went to for that. StarCraft, World of
Like,
Warcraft. Like, hmm?
I feel like I can't really rank this one. Like, you can't just say PC. PC from when?
Yeah, it seems a little unfair. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in here just to have it in here. I'm gonna throw it in right at A tier, just because my biggest issue I have with PC games is if you don't know how to upgrade a PC, you might not be able to play half the stuff that's out on it. And then if it wasn't done right or it wasn't optimized properly, it's gonna play like trash. These are, newer issue concerns.
Speaking,
And huh?
I was gonna say, speaking of which, when it comes time for me to build my PC, you're gonna like help me out, right?
I can try and help you, or at least I can get you in contact with some people who could,
Okay.
at least better than I could. But like the other thing that kind of gets me, and I was having like a conversation in with one of the owners of the gaming zone here in Arizona, and we were talking about controllers, and I said, for every game, there is like an optimal way to play it. Like, the idea of like a joystick and a D-pad and whatnot. Like a D-pad is great for your 2D games and whatnot. And I said the issue I have with PC gaming is that there are so many ways to play their games. Like for an RTS game or a strategy game, mouse and keyboard, point and click, first person shooter, mouse and keyboard. But a game like Cyberpunk or a racing game or anything like that, it's like, well, you got a controller or, like a racing. Like, I feel like there's a lot of extra stuff if you want to really get into PC gaming than you would with like a console. And then like trying to play older stuff. Like, I'm a big fan of playing older games, as you know. And the fact that I had to reteach myself DOS in order to use DOSBox, it's great that I can go back and play really old stuff, but
Hmm.
it's also a massive pain in the ass versus just going out and going, hey, I want to play a Sega Genesis game. I'll just buy a Sega Genesis. But no, so I'm gonna throw it in under A. If you want, I can add like another tier for yours that said like, "What's the point?" Or I can just be what everybody says and just throw it in F right there for you.
You know what? You can keep it at F right now. We'll come back and do it later.
Okay, but yeah, I agree with you. I think PC's kind of just too general a
Yeah,
thing.
it's too general. Like it can be PC from when I played it. If that's the case, then it wasn't all that great,
Right.
and I'll probably stick it under like D.
Hmm.
Uh, if you're talking about just like overall, like now it's different because I had certain different experiences, especially when you add mods.
Yeah, like I think it has its own community and its own stuff that it does well. I agree with you though that the PC did not. It wasn't a great system to play games on. I know there's like a lot of the hardcore community that's going to argue with me on this now, but I'd say it wasn't really until about Doom and what the guys at id Software were doing that really brought the PC into like being in light and showing what it can really do. Because like I'm like a huge fan of like John Carmack as like a programmer, and I think what he managed to figure out how to do was great. He figured out a way to get Mario 3 to actually run on one of those old computers. And I
Hmm.
think that's a genius, but the problem is I feel like if we didn't have a John Carmack, PCs would just literally be work machines still.
I can see that.
But that's all I got to say on it.
I can
You want
see
to move
that.
on?
Yeah,
That next one is the Sega Nomad.
I didn't play that. I don't even know what that is.
All right, so you just say what that is. That
Yeah.
was literally a portable Sega Genesis.
Oh, I didn't
I
even know they had that. Where
I
is
had
the Sega Genesis?
uh third row, second from the left. It's the old model one.
They disrespectful.
No, like I actually had one of those. My parents got it for me. I think maybe thinking it was a Game Gear. I don't know. I don't honestly know why they bought me one because I owned a Genesis.
Hmm.
I think it was the idea that I wanted a Game Boy and they were like, "Why do we want another game console? Let's just buy you something that allows you to play the game portably." Game ate through batteries. And it had like it couldn't so you know when you have like a handheld and it has like the little battery port slot and it fits in, all that stuff.
Hmm.
This had like a separate chunk of plastic that you had to load, I think, eight AA batteries into, and then you clipped it shut, and then it physically hooked onto the back of the system like a tumor. And I think it maybe ran for an hour and a half. This thing was no, no. That was an F tier one for me. Like as a kid, I played it a lot because I was a kid and I was dumb, and I was like, oh well, I can play my Sega Genesis games on the go, but I'm gonna plug them into a wall outlet when I could just play the Genesis.
Yeah.
So I think the only reason I played it a lot is because it had the built-in six buttons over the Genesis 3 button I had. But like it did have one advantage of it is it did have video out, and it did have a spot for you to plug in a second controller. So if you didn't have a Genesis, you did technically have a way to play it on a TV. But to me, it felt almost like it didn't have a reason to exist. And like the cartridges didn't slot completely into it, so they stood out like I think like an inch out of it. So like this thing was just huge. Like I joke and say the Lynx was a brick. No, the Nomad literally was a brick. Like if you threw that at someone, you could kill them. And like just how tiny that screen is. Like even in comparison to other game systems at the time, that screen was tiny. That's it. Next one, that's the ColecoVision. Never played it.
Never played it, but I
Yeah.
know what it is.
I know the name of it. What about this next one?
I can't even see what it is.
Oh, so that is the Odyssey 2.
Never played it.
Hmm.
They're gonna be like, "How you call yourself a gamer?"
It's everything based on your generation and all that, and I think the Odyssey 2 still came out a decade before I was born. And then you have good old Odyssey 1, which I actually have played in Odyssey 1. That's going to be yeah, it's going to go behind the Nomad because at least I knew what I was playing on a Nomad when I played it.
Nah, I never played that either.
I don't know, like maybe if I had played it in the 70s when that thing came out, I would have been like, oh my God, this shit's amazing. My mind is blown, never going to be better. No, I played this in like 2000, between like 2006 and 2010.
Hmm.
I think it was interesting for what it was, but yeah, to me, it's a piece of crap. like,
Wow.
like you can't play any of the stuff if you don't have the little cellophane overlays for your TV. Really, it just feels like you're playing an overly complicated board game because half the time it's like you're setting up a board game and then you're occasionally doing something on the screen. It's just, it's not something I enjoyed playing or wanting to play. And I don't know. Yeah, it was an F for me. Like, I'll say this for the Odyssey 2. I love the box art of an Odyssey 2 game, and I actually love its stupid, like, cartridges that actually have, like, a full-blown handle for you to, like, put it in and take it out of. I think they're incredibly dumb. I kind of want to collect some Odyssey 2 games. I don't know if I ever want to play them, though.
I'm good.
What about the N-Gage?
The hoo-hoo?
Oh, come on, K-Ray. Come on.
The hoo-hoo?
The N-Gage was a shitty cell phone.
Mm,
It yeah, it was an attempt to, how do I word this? It was an attempt to, I guess, bring like hardcore gamers into buying a Motorola phone.
nope.
Again, it's one of those things because I'm a handheld collector. I kind of want one just to have one, but I don't even know if you can still play the games on it because I think it required a cell phone plan in order to actually even play your games.
Nope.
And you had to like take the back of it off and remove the battery in order to actually put a cartridge into it. Yeah, that's F tier for me.
You already know where that's going for me.
Never played or never heard of.
I don't. I'm putting never heard of. I don't think
Okay.
I heard of it.
So I know why there's two of these listed. This is the Neo Geo Pocket.
I know what those are, but I didn't play it.
Okay. So I'll drop both of them under there.
Mhm.
So how do I put this? Like I had never heard of this system until a few years ago. And then like I'm a big Neo Geo fan. I was like, oh, it's got like a bunch of like handheld versions of it. I hunted down a Neo Geo Pocket Color and I paid out the ass for one of them. And I'm not gonna lie, it is one of my favorite handhelds I've ever played. And I love that the Switch is finally getting some ports of its game. So for like the original one that I think was in black and white, I'm just gonna throw it right there with the. Actually, I'm gonna throw it above the original Game Boy, but behind the Game Boy Color because I like that it had the micro switch joystick. I like the games on it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna throw the color
And
one. I'm throwing it above the GBA. Like I love the Neo Geo Color or Neo Geo Pocket Color.
oh my gosh.
In just the last year and a half I've owned one, I've gotten that system and I think about 20 games for it. And at worst, I would just say the games I've played for it were just okay. I think it was meant to compete with the Game Boy Color, but it released right before the Game Boy Advance got completely overshadowed.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say it enough. I absolutely love this system, and I like that there's now a modding community for it. Again, I absolutely love that system. I think in our very first video, I put it under like honorable mentions for most underrated things.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely going up there, and I'm not gonna put it above the GameCube, but I'll put it there.
I was broke, so I missed a lot of things. All right.
But no, I'm done gushing on the Neo Geo Pocket. So
What's
we're gonna
up
move.
next?
That's the Neo Geo CD.
The next one is a Neo Geo again.
Yeah.
Y'all know I didn't play it.
Nope. To be fair, nobody could afford a Neo Geo. Well, the CD was meant to be the cheaper alternative.
My
But
list is gonna be so full. You ain't gonna be able to put it there. I didn't play it.
I've never actually played one. Like I'm told it's got good games on it, but the loading times are really bad. But I've never actually played one. I've used the controller for it. This didn't even put a Neo Geo on this system. If they did not put the original Neo Geo on here, I'm gonna be kind of pissed.
You might be pissed.
Yeah, I'm kind of pissed. How do you put the Neo Geo CD on here, but not the not like that? Because that would be honestly that would be my first S tier if that was on here. But okay, so we got. Why is it on here twice? Okay, so I'm assuming this first one is meant to be the NES Classic or the NES Mini or whatever they called it.
You can put the original up there with my GameCube
All right. Before higher or the GameCube.
behind it.
Okay.
Wait, actually, hold on. Let me think. Because you already know what my number one is gonna be.
Is it going to be the Vita?
Ha! Funny. Yeah, behind it.
Okay. So I'm going to throw mine.
In a disrespectful slot. I know you are.
What is
I know you are.
Anything other than S? Anything other than an S?
Yes. I know you are.
Here's the thing, my first console was a Genesis. I didn't own a Nintendo console until the 64. So, what'd you say? Oh, what did you say?
So that would have been my first S tier. They gonna disrespect the original.
Yeah, the original. Like again, I like part of this problem is I was not a Nintendo kid, so yeah, it's going in B for me. Like I
How
don't
do you put that in a B?
because I didn't grow up with it. I don't have the
At
nostalgia
least
for
an
it.
honorable mention of an A.
Yeah,
Who put
it's
PC in A?
yeah, because I'm throwing everything for a PC in there. That's why it's not S.
Oh my gosh.
You have to remember the original years of PC where everything was an ass. So like,
That should be an F.
nah, like it. I have all the respect for the Nintendo.
Wow.
I just don't play like a ton of it, and like I've gotten into playing more of them. Like it's got some really good games on it. You know, like I said, Mario 3 is great. The Batman game on it is amazing. I love that.
I
Ninja
don't
Gaiden.
want to hear it anymore.
I can't give it an A just for
I
me
don't want to hear
personally. So what about the NES Classic?
it. Do I have to rank that one?
Yeah,
Why is that even on there?
because a person apparently thought it was a different thing. Wait, is the Super Nintendo on this? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
it
Say now that is gonna piss me off.
is.
It better be on there.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I never owned it. I had the original.
I guess this one's just purely based on your opinion, like what you think of it, because like you know the games that are on it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the way Nintendo handled that thing. That thing's going in D tier for me.
I'll put it in A tier then.
A tier. Like I like the system. I like the idea.
Actually, put it in B.
We're at in B
No,
for you.
it's good where it's at.
Okay. I I like the idea of the classics, but to me it just felt like for the longest time we weren't getting classic games on the Switch, and that was their alternative. We'll just buy this $100, mini console, and then it kicked off the mini console fad for a while that I freaking hate.
You didn't love all the minis, man?
I'm not a huge fan of. I own one mini console.
I own none.
I own one, and it was because it's a tester to see if it's for a system I want to start collecting for. Yeah, I just don't like the way Nintendo handled it. It just got scalped really quickly, and then I think it was last Christmas or the Christmas before, all of a sudden I saw a bunch on the shelf at Best Buy, and nobody wanted them.
Of course not.
So it's moving directly into like 3DS. So let's go ahead and let's just keep going in line. So we have the 3DS. I'm sorry, that's the new 3DS.
And what's the one next to it?
The normal 3DS.
I think I had one of them.
Did it have the little control nub in the right side?
Damn, I don't remember. I think I had the old one. I think I only got it because someone was like, "I heard you the greatest," and I was like, "Of course."
The disrespect.
And then they were like, "Go ahead and put." I think. Let me see. Hold on. So I gave it away. Was that this one though? What is that blue one?
That's an original DS.
And the one before it?
I think that's a DSi or the DS Lite.
Okay, it might have been a DS that I gave away. Okay, I think I did just play Pokemon. I think this was during a time where I really wasn't into handhelds anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it'll probably go. I think it'll go in a B.
Throwing both of them in the B.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. So this is where we're going to disagree heavily on it. Let me make sure I got these. So I'm going to throw the 3DS.
I already knew where you were going with those.
I love the 3DS.
I didn't really play it like that, so
that was my RPG machine for there, and it had like Shin Megami Tensei 4, which was one of the main reasons I bought that system. I loved the system. Like I played it so much, and I think it's what really kicked me off on wanting to be like a handheld game collector.
yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
There's really only one issue I have with the system for it, and that's the port of Majora's Mask. Like I loved Majora's Mask on the N64. I hated its port. Like it looked really good, but they made playing as a Zora. I used to like play Majora's Mask, and I would just go swimming in that game as a Zora just to kill time because I was bored.
Mm.
And they broke it. They tied it to your magic, so now you can't just swim indefinitely, like really fast and have fun. Like I hated it. But I'm not going to fault the system for a bad port. But yeah, that's my first S tier for me.
Okay, I'm not mad at that.
And continuing with the trend of why this guy is putting things on here, we were talking about DS and whatnot. Let's go ahead and do those real quick. What would we put the DS for?
Okay, I think that's the one I was actually talking about when I said I got challenged for Pokemon to see if I still got it. Let's see. Give me a moment to think. Did I play more than just Pokemon?
You're disrespecting the DS.
I did have a few games on that. So I had the Mario Kart DS, I remember. Yeah, this is the one because I had the Pokemon, I think, Diamond version. I had the new Super Mario Bro. Did they have Dragon Quest on there?
I think they had a Dragon Quest. Yeah, they did.
And they
7 or
put
8. There's the one where you were an angel and like heaven was full of trains. But
then they
yeah.
put Final Fantasy was 4?
Yes.
Damn, I think I did have fun with this one. They had oh yeah, I think I did. Damn, why did I give it away? No, oh, I know I gave it away. A cousin really wanted one, and I thought it would be nice. But I told them not to delete anything until something, but then they deleted everything anyway. So I was like, thanks.
That's how it always goes.
Thanks, appreciate it. Shoot. I don't know. I had fun with it. So I'm considering either S or A. I'll go S.
S for both of them, or just because you have 2 of them on here? You have the old crappy like brick model one, and then you have the slimmer.
I think I had the slimmer one. I think so. Throw that one in S.
Throw what in F?
The black one. Throw that in S.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. And for this one here?
Yeah, A.
Okay. For me, if the 3DS didn't exist, I would throw it in S, but I'm gonna throw the DSi/Lite in A, and I'm gonna throw the original like fat model in B.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, and fat model is gonna go right there above the original NES. And I'm gonna throw the DSi right there. Actually, no, I'm putting the DSi above the GameCube. I don't care what people say.
By people, you mean me, yo. Because I want to say something. Like, how dare you? What's the next one?
That's the Nintendo 64 disc drive. We never got this here in America.
Okay, well then put it where it's supposed to be.
Never played. Oops. And same for me. I've never played one. It's one I would kind of like to get just to see, but okay. And the good old N64.
Oh my gosh. I think I got nostalgia reasons for this one, but I'm gonna throw it in damn. I think I'm gonna throw it in I'm gonna throw it in A.
Okay. We're at an A.
Let's see. I'll leave it there.
Okay. You ready for some disrespect here?
What, D?
No, it's not that bad. No. I had an N64. I didn't play it a ton. Mostly I played it for Star Fox. And because I'm not really a big Mario fan, I don't have like a lot of love for the system. It had the 2 Zelda games on it. Like it had Majora's Mask, which is one of my favorite games on it, but
that's not bad.
Yeah. I am going to say this. I know a lot of people sit there and complain about the N64 controller. They're like, "Oh, you need 3 hands or something like that."
No, that's the Xbox One controller.
Like it we all know how to hold an N64 controller. And if a game does anything different for it, it never expects you to have to handle every button on that controller at any given time. I think Sin and Punishment was the weirdest game I ever played on it, where you had to play with your right hand on the joystick and your left hand on the D-pad. And like Turok did the opposite, where like
Turok, wow.
I think you controlled movement with the C buttons and you aimed with the joystick. Like it had some weird control styles, but I think it's important for what it is. But yeah, like I think it's an important system. I've just never been like a massive fan of it.
Okay, that's good. That's fine.
So we got the Switch.
Um, I'll let you go first
Okay,
before I
yeah,
go on my rant.
yeah, no problem. S tier.
I'm gonna put it in S,
Mm-hmm.
but I should disrespect it just because the Switches come with an issue
Oh, the Joy-Con drift.
where the
Oh,
stupid card reader stops working out of nowhere, and then games that you want to play that you have all saved on your memory card,
I thought you were going all digital. Like you're the
but
all
they're
digital guy kind of thing.
but they're still saved.
Oh, that card reader.
Yeah, they're saved on
Oh,
my stuff and can't play it, huh?
yeah, I can see that being an issue. That's why you should try selling that thing and replacing it.
No, you can. I'm gonna fix it. It's a way to like fix it where I don't have to like switch my card, but
Okay.
I'm gonna do that. But I'll still put it in S tier because it is good. It's gonna go in first.
Oh, in the first spot?
Yeah, it's
Like,
better than the GameCube.
I'm not gonna lie, like I was hypercritical of the Switch when they announced it. I thought it was the stupidest thing ever. And then once I owned one, like I'm usually I don't like saying like, oh well once you play it, you'll figure out why it's so nice. No, this is literally a system that the moment I started playing it, I really enjoyed it. I just hate the Joy-Cons.
I don't use the Joy Cons. I use the little advanced controller.
The Pro controller.
Yeah, so
I do the same thing. I use the Pro controller, and then in handheld, I went out and bought. I lucked out and got my hands on the special Hori Joy Cons for it, that are actually more like taking the Pro controller and splitting it in half and throwing it on each side.
okay.
With
Yeah,
that, it's perfect. Like I love, I absolutely love the Switch. It's one of my favorite systems.
I was playing it so much that my PlayStation friends were like, "Bro, like, are you gonna even cut on the system and let it breathe?" And I was like, "Yo, I'm just having fun over here." Like,
And that's the one thing I'll give Nintendo is that when you're looking at the current console generation, I feel like Nintendo's the only one that still makes game consoles. They're not trying to make a multimedia device. Like, it's not meant to be this hub, so it's like, oh, you watch TV on it, you watch movies on it, you play games on it. Nintendo, I think you can get Netflix on it, but really, if you're buying a Nintendo console, you're buying it to play games.
yeah,
And I commend them for just still going that route. They falter with certain systems, but they know what their target demographic is. They know what they want, and they tend to make it for them. Unless you're a Metroid fan like me, in which case they just kind of give you the middle finger. Yeah, the middle finger every year. But
they sure do. But yeah, I love the Switch. I just can't play it now, so that's why I unplugged it and
hmm
put it to the side until I fix it and I get more room because the five kind of like,
took it all up.
yeah.
So the next one, I can't. Why would you not have the Neo
I'm
Geo
still
on
trying to
here?
see why we already did Switches and stuff, and I still haven't seen Sega Genesis.
It's on there. I'm looking at it right now. It's if you look at the one we're on and you look directly below it, that's the Genesis.
Yeah, I see it, but I'm like, who did? Where's the order?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But like I said, I'm still upset the Neo Geo's gone, but he put the Nvidia Shield. I'm just gonna say this: who the fuck owns an Nvidia Shield?
I did not get that at all.
I know there's like
Yeah,
this
go ahead,
weird
throw it in the
thing.
same spot.
I know there's this weird thing where people are like, "Oh, we want PC games on the go." And any person I know that wants to play a PC game on the go is just gonna buy a gaming laptop. It's kind of up there with like Steam stuff that they tried to do for a while. I don't get it. I I don't get even who this is for because like even looking at it, it's like how is that even remotely portable or easy to use or anything like that? Like,
I'm trying to like look at the ones that's on here, that's left on here.
and as for that next one, I have no clue what the hell that is.
I don't either. I was hoping you did.
Nah,
With your
like
infinite knowledge.
no, there's some stuff that's even more obscure than I know of. Like to me, that looks like a prototype.
No, put that under what's this?
Oh, sorry. Um, to me, that looks like something that like one of those failed Kickstarter things.
I can't even see what it is. I can't even make it out.
It just looks like polygons, right? Like it looks like an unfinished model from a video game. I know it is. It's a Porygon.
I was gonna say that,
Porygon.
but I couldn't think of the
See,
name.
like right there is its eye and its beak and its body. That's a Porygon. No, that was a dumb joke, but
What's the next one?
that's an ouya.
A what?
How do you not know what an ouya is?
I don't know what no ouya is.
It's a failed game console. I believe it was like the first Kickstarter to hit like $1 million or
Ouya?
something like that. Yeah, it was essentially it's just take your Android phone and shove it inside an aluminum case. But like, oh, it failed. It bombed. It's an F tier on there. I thought about buying one just to have it because like you can get them as low as like $20 brand new on like eBay. Where do you want me to throw this for you?
I didn't even know what that was.
Okay. Yeah, it failed. It's dumb. I have played one. Its controller was uncomfortable. There is this like great interview that was done.
How many backed it? How many ordered? Who's a backer? Really? Just these two people here? Three?
Oh, come on.
Are you talking to people about that right now?
Talking to everybody.
Can you specifically tell me who you're talking to?
No, I can't.
Do you want to share any details on any deals that you may be making?
No, I
Right.
don't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
All right. There's like 4 people here who'll be getting them at the end of the month.
Raise your hand if you bought an ouya. Okay,
Okay, it's like
significantly
16,
more than
it's like
4.
16
Stop it.
people. How many have you sold?
A lot.
Can you give me a range?
A lot.
You're not going to tell me a number,
No, I'm
are
not.
you?
There is nothing special about this board. Nothing. Like, nothing.
There's nothing special
There's
about
nothing.
this.
You could take a Nexus 7 board, cut it in half, and you're close to an ouya, right? Because our controller has a touchpad. You're not going to find that somewhere else.
New PlayStation 4 controller has a touchpad.
That's
doesn't
true.
It? So you're going to produce the Blair Witch Project of games.
We don't have to exceed expectations. That's not our goal. It has to work.
Does it not work?
No, it works.
Should
but
I
like,
be worried?
No, but
But I feel like you're
Looks like we
dodging
will.
my question, which is ouya a scam?
are there any developers in the room that have built a game for ouya or have it running?
Really not?
Oh, there's
Wait,
one.
We got one.
But we don't have quality review guidelines.
I never even heard of this.
It's a meme in itself. Literally, like all it could play was Android cell phone games, and it couldn't even play them well. That was the problem. Like they lagged worse than on some phones. But I think it's like retail price was only meant to be $100, and it was supposed to be like really good for if you wanted to get into game development.
Mm-hmm.
But you're only going to be developing games for the ouya, which nobody plays. So,
The ouya. That don't even make no sense.
but yeah, that's it. And I think like if you look at the little silver plates on it, you had to pop those off in order to put like the batteries into it.
Yeah.
But
You speaking Chinese to me.
so, do you know what the next one is?
Let me see. Can't see it.
I could be wrong. I think that's a Philips CDI.
I didn't have that.
Nobody owned a Philips CDI. And I think the only reason people know what a Philips CDI is because it had like those really crappy Mario Hotel and Zelda games. Have you seen any of the clips from that?
Nope.
Well, you will whenever I edit this in.
It is written, only Link can defeat Ganon. Great, I'll grab my stuff. There is no time. Your sword is enough. How about a kiss for luck?
You've got to be kidding.
Squadala, we are off.
How are we gonna find the princess with the power going out? Maybe there's a switch in one of the rooms. Remind me to check.
You Neuralink me into the system, I can monitor, lock, and destroy incoming weaponry and give the drones a bad haircut.
This isn't a video game, Zach. Around here, game over has a whole nother meaning.
I hate to say it, brother, but the kid's right. This may be our only chance.
Thunder, open external control channel.
Yes!
It's got like some really bad, like not even Saturday morning cartoon, badly animated stuff. But you know, we're looks like we've pretty much burned through a good chunk of the trash. So I'm gonna go on to I don't know why they put this first, but the PS2.
You already know where that's going.
F tier got you. Like it's
Yeah, right. That is S tier.
Where at on it?
I think that's my number one.
Okay. I'm throwing it an A. It's gonna go at the very front of it for me. I really like the PS2. There was a couple of consoles that I thought were a little better for that generation. Let me rephrase. I think there was a console that I enjoyed more than the PS2, but I still play my PS2. I still enjoy it. I think it's a solid system with like a lot of really good stuff. And if you were a fan of like JRPGs, that was like your home for a long time.
Yep.
And I mean, again, like it had your on it. You had Silent Hill 2 and 3 on it. It you know what? No, it's gonna go at the back end of it, but it's going in my S tier. But yeah, like I still enjoy playing the PS2. PlayStation 3.
Okay. Let me get back to my screen. Yeah, the PS2 was that was my guy.
Mm-hmm.
That was my guy. Like I played everything. Siphon Filter 2, which was my favorite. That was on PlayStation 1, but
right.
I don't know. I played so much games on the PS2, even though the tray used to always break.
I know. I think that is still considered to be the highest selling console.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it didn't help, or I mean, it definitely helped that it was the cheapest way to get a DVD player for the longest time.
That too.
Like
I
that
actually
was how
started buying movies because of PS2.
That was how I convinced my parents to buy me one. Is my dad really wanted a DVD player, and then about $200 cheaper was a PS2. So you know what? That's how I ended up with that system, and I don't regret it at all.
Yeah, that started my movie
Mm-hmm.
buying. You know how you're like a collector of like games and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was like that with movies at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not so much, but back then, like I used to go to every FYE and every Virgin Records. I know I show my age.
Do they not exist anymore?
Not that I know, no.
Oh.
I used to go like everywhere and walk in there looking for one movie and come out with like 10. So that was me, and PlayStation 2 started that. But PS3, I love my PS3, but I will put it in probably A or B. I'm probably gonna go A.
All right, we're at an A.
I'll put him at the front just because
Come on, get over there. There we go. It's going in B for me. Like, I enjoyed my PS3, but I think it had like a horrible launch. It was way too expensive out the gate for it. Like its original controller didn't have Rumble in it. Its launch stuff killed it, and what really bothers me for it is that, it's a pain in the ass to emulate for, so if you want to play a PS3 game, you have to basically play a PlayStation 3. You have to play it on a PlayStation 3 unless it's one of the few that's on PlayStation Now.
Yeah, mine was the pricing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was the first game first console before the 5 where it was sold out like everywhere. And I remember my friend ended up going to a store and he went to go talk to this guy just to ask like if any shipments are coming in. He wasn't going in there to like buy a PlayStation 3. He was actually going in there to buy something. I think he was like building something on his car or something.
Mm-hmm.
But he asked them was they going to get any, and literally as he asked that, they brought in a box of 3 of them. And since he was already in the front, they was like, "Do you want one?" That's like how he got his. I was so jelly at that time. I was like, bro, I need one because Resistance. When I used to go to Fry's Electronics and play Resistance, I was like, yo, why does it look so good?
That's where it got with me, as like a Metal Gear fan. I was just salty. I was like, I'm not going to be able to play Metal Gear because I'm not going to drop $600 on a console, and I really want to play 4. And I think I got that system like 2 or 3 years like after it had some price drops and before the Slim came out.
I got mine. I don't remember when I got mine, but they had this big old deal where they're like, if you trade in your PlayStation 2 and I think 2 memory cards, they'll take off like $150. So I took my PlayStation up there, my 2, and traded that with 2 memory cards, and I had like so many games that I wasn't like playing anymore. And I traded that, and I literally, after all the trading, I think only paid like $20.
Okay.
So I was like, got me a PlayStation, got me some games. I mean, the lineup was okay for me. Like I loved Resistance. I think the last Resistance that didn't get any coverage pretty much was the best one, part 3. I think we did it as well. One of my like underrated
I believe you did.
Yeah, that was amazing. Killzone 2, I still think like for that time had one of the dopest intros ever, and it was amazing. But Killzone didn't get its fair play either.
I think Killzone is what basically killed Resistance, and then nobody supported Killzone after that.
Cause Resistance was like doing its thing at first, and I know they had that for like Gears of War, and whatnot. And I know 1 and 2 did amazing, but after the main character died, they were like F you and everything else. But Killzone, I don't know, like, cause Killzone 2 really didn't get like the coverage either. Every person I asked about Killzone, they were like, "What is that?"
Well, I think what happened with Killzone is because when they first showed it, it was hyped like crazy, and everyone was excited. And then I think when reviews came out and they were like, "Oh yeah, all these scenes we saw were," and I think that might have killed it. I know Killzone 3 didn't do as well. I wasn't a huge fan of Killzone 3.
It didn't do well at all.
And then Shadowfall just like shot it. Like it made like Killzone 3, it was digging its own grave, and then Killzone 4 shot it and buried itself. Like
I beat all of them, and I was like, I mean, they were cool to me, but nobody else was playing them.
I never made it more than I think 2 or 3 hours into Shadowfall. Or yeah, was it Killzone Shadowfall?
It was something like that.
Shadow something. Yeah, I just couldn't get into that one, and then we never saw that franchise. I think we're kind of in line maybe for a reboot of it.
I don't know. I knew it like when they showed Horizon Zero Dawn at I don't remember what conference it was. When they first showed it, I was like, that's the people that make Killzone. I knew it, like just how the mechanics were, how she moved and everything. So I was happy they got their fair shake with that. But with all that stuff, I didn't like the UI on the PS3. Like that's one thing me and Xbox fans went back and forth about. Like they feel like just because I said we had better games that I think Xbox sucked. No, I was talking about like the exclusive games, especially like after a few years into the system.
Yeah.
When they actually developers start figuring out how to make games for the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
That's when it like started like steamrolling. But the UI always sucked. I hated that I couldn't get in the party and actually talk to people. Like when I played Demon Souls, I had a party where we chatted. And that's how we talked. Or if I play with my brother, we'll be on the phone the entire time as we play. That sucks. So yeah, that's why it's falling into my E tier. What's next though?
PS4.
Man, I love my PS4. Yeah, I didn't have any issues until I like got rid of my original one, and then I got the PS4 Pro. And the only issue I had was my SharePlay stopped working. Besides that, and it sounded like a jet engine. I loved it. I mean, we got all these dope games. God, I'm not gonna even list them. So go ahead and throw it in that S.
Where at?
That's let's see. Who do I got in front?
PlayStation 2.
Damn, I don't want to disrespect Switch. No, I'll Switch disrespecting me. Put it in front of Switch.
Okay. Come on. There we go.
Yeah.
See, I'm a little disappointed that the person again is putting all these weird, obscure ones, but they didn't separate the PS4 and the Pro, because I would put the Pro in S.
Oh yeah, I will put the Pro in S, but I didn't have any issues with my PS4 either, so
I'm gonna put it right behind the Switch, like you. I'm putting it right behind the Switch for me. Like, I do really enjoy the PS4. It's my favorite. I think I've just enjoyed the Switch slightly more since getting it. Yeah, I think what I'm basically averaging is like if the Pro was an option in here, I would put it before the Switch, and I would drop the original into A tier. But
Yeah, I would too.
like averaging the entire consoles thing, then it's going right behind the Switch for me. Like,
if I average, I still got so many games on my 4. I got my 4 on right now because I was watching some good old anime before this. But I'm like, hell, we got Ghost of Tsushima on there, Spider-Man, Sekiro, Bloodborne, all it. Man, yeah, I'm sorry. I put countless hours into that.
yeah, like this.
Let me stop. Let me stop.
Yeah, so for me, definitely in the S tier for it. And
Is that a
PS5.
PS5? That
Yep.
I feel like it's too early to rank it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting at. So you know what? I'm gonna do this for both of ours. So add below.
I think it's too early. Like the system needs to be out for like a few years. Cause we got our games that's not even like truly exclusive. We got what Demon Souls is the only one.
Mm-hmm. Well, Godfall.
No.
Oh yeah, it's also on PC and coming to Xbox later. So yeah, the true exclusive. Do you want to do the same thing for the new Xbox?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I would say I think the PlayStation is just doing better right now. The Best Buy near me actually does have a display model for the Xbox One. So as long as you wear your, gloves that they give you, they'll let you like try it out. And it's a nice system, but I think where it's kind of standing, or not the new Xbox One, the new Xbox Series X, is it's just with us getting half console generations now, I think it's kind of the same issue I have with the Pro or with the 5 is that it doesn't feel like we're getting that substantial leap anymore between
Yeah.
consoles. And with the Xbox literally only getting stuff that's always, that's going to be on the Xbox One, it feels even more so. So yeah. So I did the same thing as you. I just created a new thing for too early and dropped them in there.
Yeah, like I feel like that's why I was saying like and Xbox or Microsoft they took a lot of flack for saying they're not creating any exclusive games like 3 to 5 years into their system.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I was one of the people too. I'm like, yo, that's horrible. And then Sony basically is doing the same thing. I'm like, yo. So I kept the same energy. Like, I don't like when you make games for a new console and then you put it on the old stuff. Like, it's a limit there. You gotta like drop everything. All the specs gotta go down. And you can't like really show how powerful or how fast, or you can't really push the envelope doing it that
And
way.
I feel like when you start pushing them too much, then it negatively affects the current or the last generation for like we were talking about with Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I'm still going to stand by it. That should not have been released on Xbox
No.
X or Xbox X and One or whatever,
And
and the
PS4.
PS4.
It should not. Like, I know people would have got mad, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd rather play a finished game that works than
Mm-hmm.
play some downgradable version. Because I've been seeing pictures and stuff from my friends that's been playing. I'm like, chest poking out of shirts. I'm talking about females.
Yeah.
like, like you said, multiple chopsticks. Like, you guys, I seen someone do an animation yesterday when they were supposed to, I guess, stab the person with these little blades on their arm, like, holding them up in the air. And then like the guy was just on the ground, like glitching, and then he was just still doing the animation in the air. I was like, what's going on? Or shooting I think it was like missile or grenades out of your arm, and it's not shooting anything, but the people just like bouncing back. I was like, yo, come on, why y'all put this out?
Yeah, it just shouldn't have been a thing for it.
Nah.
So I'm a little confused looking at this chart because it's another one where there's two of them. I think one is supposed to be the PlayStation Mini and the other is the original PlayStation.
Okay, I had both.
Oh, you have a PlayStation Mini?
Is the mini,
Oh,
is
no,
that the one that was just like the PS1, I mean?
no. The Mini is that one that's kind of like the Nintendo Mini or the SNES
Okay.
Mini that came out.
I had the original block PlayStation and then
Mhm.
the PS1 version. So I didn't own the mini, so you can put that under never played on mine. And PlayStation 1. Where'd I rank that? Because didn't I put the PS3 in A?
Yeah, you did. That's your highest rank in A.
So I love the PlayStation 1. I mean, that made me get into RPGs. Where would I rank it at, though? Let me think.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the PlayStation Mini in F tier. The fact that you can get that thing for like $30 right now, and they have like the American and the PAL games, and the PAL games run really slow. And the only reason I've seen people buy a PlayStation Mini now is just to put your own ROMs on it. Nah, that thing's not worth having.
I'll come back to PlayStation 1. I'm still thinking.
All right, well, I'm gonna drop mine in here. I'm definitely throwing PlayStation 1 in A tier for me.
That's what I was thinking. I'm still.
Yeah, the PlayStation 1 was like probably the first system I got really into. For anyone out there that thinks that, I hate on Final Fantasy VII too much, Final Fantasy VII was literally the first game I ever played on the PlayStation. It is the reason I wanted. It is the reason I wanted a PlayStation.
You know what? I'm thinking like I'm trying to go between S and A. So I got Nintendo and A. I mean S. You know what?
If you want to readjust the Nintendo one, you can also.
Put Nintendo down to B.
Where at it?
I mean,
you went on this whole spiel about me putting Nintendo in B.
I said A. I was thinking A, and then put
Where at in A?
Did I play it more than the GameCube? I played it more than GameCube, so just put it in front of GameCube. I mean 64.
Okay.
And then put PlayStation, the original one, in my S. Put it behind. I think I played it more than my GameCube, to be honest, though. You can put it there.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll work.
The PSP.
I had the PSP,
and
from the games that I played, I liked it. I had a few Ratchet and Clanks. I had the Final Fantasy with Zack in it.
Crisis Core.
I had some racing ones. I liked it, but it got destroyed. I was in the military then, so I left it down here so my little cousins can like play it. And I came back, and then it just wouldn't work one day. So I didn't get to live a long life with PSP, but the games I did play were pretty fun. But I will probably put it in. It'll probably go on like B for me.
Just at the end, or?
Let me see. Yeah.
Yeah, the PSP is gonna go in B for me also. Like, I like the original PSP more than I like the original DS. I bought it before buying a DS. And like you were saying, like it had Ratchet and Clank on it. It had, I believe it had a version of what was that game called? Medieval. Some really good racing games on it. Some really good action games on it. It had Metal Gear Acid, which is a game that I know a lot of people don't like. I really liked Acid 1 and 2. I just think its format that it went with is kind of what killed it. I don't think the UMDs were a smart choice, and I don't think not having a second thumbstick was again a bad choice. Really, like what the PSP ended up getting used for by me was to just play PlayStation 1 games on it a lot.
Okay.
Buying them through the PlayStation Store. So, but I think it's a solid system. And then
I do too.
Moving on, let's see. I'm gonna skip this next one and go on to the Vita.
What is the next one?
That's the PlayStation TV.
I didn't own a Vita at all.
So never played?
Never played it.
The Vita, I think, was solid. It just, the problem is that a lot of games on it were like downscaled PS4 games. It had some decent stuff on it, but nothing that was amazing. Or it had a lot of downscaled PS3 and PS4 games on it. I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite. It had some solid stuff. I'm gonna drop it right there with the PSP. They're basically on par.
Vita.
I liked it for what it was, but again, it's like, it's great. You gave us a second thumbstick and you gave us a really good Uncharted game, but you haven't found a way to give us two R buttons yet on it, which the 3DS managed to do. And it just felt too gimmicky. It's like, you got a touch screen on the back, or a touchpad on the back, a touch screen on the front of it, a camera, and it felt too gimmicky. But it had some solid stuff on it that I enjoyed playing, but it's now just become like a niche thing. Like I know like there's an indie scene for it that really likes it, but I haven't delved into that. And then the PlayStation TV.
No, they got a like trash section.
That's basically where I've been throwing my F tier stuff in is trash. The PlayStation TV, here's the thing. I remember when everybody hated that thing and you could buy it. I had a PlayStation TV because I needed another PS3 controller, and it was cheaper to buy one of those with the controllers bundled in than it was to buy a PS3 controller by itself. And now, like, the modding scene has taken this thing off, and if you want to be able to play any Vita game or any like PSP game on your TV, that's the route to go. But that's also caused secondary market to drop from, or to go from like $20-$30 to $200+. I'm sorry, I'm not making an exception for it. Just like, you know, the PlayStation Mini, just because people can mod it and make it into a great thing doesn't make it better. It is better than an ouya and an N-Gage, and yeah, and it's better than those though. So
all right, what's the next ones?
That is, well, we're finally getting to the Genesis. So you want to go in generation order?
Sure.
All right, so the very first one is actually the Master System.
I can't even see that.
It's the fourth one. Yeah.
Where's the Genesis at?
Or fifth one. The Genesis is right here.
Okay, just throw that in my S tier.
It doesn't matter in the S tier?
Put it after the GameCube.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw it in. I'll put it in A tier, just behind the.
I'll
throw it in there.
I'm gonna make it easy for the ones I see. Where's Super Nintendo?
Super Nintendo. Oh, they have the Nintendo and the Nintendo Mini.
No, the Nintendo.
I think this is the Super Nintendo.
All right, put that behind my PlayStation 2.
Okay.
Where's Xbox 360?
Right here.
All right, that's going S tier. It can go behind my Switch.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and throw. Where is it at? The 360. I'm throwing it in A above the PlayStation just because of all the issues it came with. If they separated out the original launch model 360 with the other ones, I would throw all later 360s in S.
Oh, that's how I took it.
Let's see. Super Nintendo. That's going in there with S tier. I'm gonna put it right there above the PlayStation 2. The Mini. I'm gonna throw that there with the D. Because again, I don't like how Nintendo handled that. The Master System, which is what came out before the Genesis, I've played ROMs, but I've never played it.
I never played it. My never played is gonna be extensive.
The Sega CD.
I didn't have the Sega CD. I never played it. I didn't want it.
I had one because my parents took the route of, we're not buying a PlayStation, we're just gonna keep buying you add-ons for the thing you already have. And that thing was like
a F?
No, it wasn't an F. It had some good stuff on it. That was like E tier. It had some decent little games on it, but most of them were just like basically QuickTime events before QuickTime events were a thing.
Okay.
32X was like D tier. It was slightly better, but you weren't looking at anything too amazing.
I didn't have it.
Okay. The Sega Genesis Mini.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Where's my other tier?
What other tier?
D. Put it in D for me.
D. I've been told that it's actually pretty good, but I've never used it. The Sega Saturn.
Wasn't that the trash one?
It depends on who you talk to.
Well, I'm talking to you today.
I got one as a hand-me-down, and I actually kind of like it. It was good for like arcade ports. Like if you were a fighting game fan, it had some good stuff like Virtual Fighter.
What you thinking of C?
Yeah, I'll throw it in C.
I think I was like so biased on the Genesis, but I guess I'll be at first C.
Okay. Steam Machine.
I didn't have no stupid Steam.
Technically my first gaming PC wasn't a Steam machine, but it was an Alienware that got pissed. And they were like, well, you guys keep taking too long, so we're just going to release our own version of it. And I don't know, Steam Machine, I haven't heard anything too good about it. Like, I knew it ran on Linux, so half the stuff on Steam didn't actually play on the Steam Machine.
Is that a Wii?
Sure.
And a Switch?
Where?
In the lineup?
Okay, yeah, this one at the end. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about with the Switch.
What is that?
I have no idea what that is. To me, it looks like one of those Chinese knockoffs of the Switch.
Oh, that's probably a Soldier Boy console. I'll throw that in there.
That it probably is the Soldier Boy. I didn't even think that.
What is that?
This one here was called the Zodiac. It was basically a Palm Pilot.
Oh, I know what that is. I didn't have it though.
No, never played it. Never played it. The original Xbox.
Oh, I like the PS2 better. I think I'll put that in my A.
Where are you throwing it at?
Throw it right there.
It's going into my S tier. Right behind the PS2. Like, when I got the original Xbox was the last one of that generation I got, but once I did, it completely replaced the PS2 for anything that wasn't a PS2 exclusive.
Never.
Let's do another trash one real quick. The Virtual Boy.
Do I have anything in F?
You have PC?
Oh, yeah, I was supposed to move that. We'll put that in F.
Yeah, it's an F tier. I kind of want one just to have one, but I kind of want to consoleize it to where you just hook an HDMI out to it and you can play it on a normal TV. But yeah, it was a failure of a console.
You can put my PC in
you can just add it out to TV.
I'm gonna say B.
B. Let's go back to an older one real quick. The TurboGrafx. For me, I'm actually gonna throw it under A. I actually really
enjoyed 16?
Yeah. Remember I said I own one mini console and it was to see if I was going to collect for it? The TurboGrafx 16 was that mini console, and everything I've played on I've really enjoyed. It's got the home version of Splatterhouse, so it's automatically winning some points for me there. I just really enjoyed it.
I'm going to go B.
Just at the end?
Yeah.
And then the Turbo Express, which is the exact same thing as the Nomad for the TurboGrafx.
I didn't have that.
Never played it.
Yeah.
I've never played it. Seems kind of redundant to me. The Wii U.
The Wii U. I didn't have this console or the next one. I'm trying to think what was on it.
Well, for the Wii U, look at any game that's on the Switch, and it was probably on the Wii U. I owned a Wii U. I got it from a friend. I bought it off of them with a bunch of games.
Mm-hmm.
I grew to like it. It is actually, I think it is kind of an underrated system, but I feel like it didn't know where it was supposed to be. I'm actually going to throw it in like B tier for me. But yeah, it was just it was decent, but like most of its like hardcore games were from the previous generation, like the PS3 and 360 era, and its exclusive games, it had some good exclusives, but nobody really remembers those. And the ones that were really good are just ported to the Switch now.
I'll go B.
The Wii?
I'm going to do C.
It's going in E for me. That was the first system. What'd you say?
I was going to say, didn't they have a lot of...
Do you say C for you?
Didn't they have a lot of issues though? Hold on. Let me tap into the memory bank.
I don't remember it having a ton of issues. I just think people realized that you couldn't do a ton with it. Like, I think it had a lot of shovelware games on it. I thought
I'm gonna do D.
D?
Yeah.
I think a lot of the stuff on it just, to me, wasn't very fun to play. It had some fun games on it, but I thought it was a lot of wasted potential. And I think the only one we have left is the Xbox One.
Okay, the console itself was good. They didn't really have too much games for me.
For me, it's just going into the C tier for me. Like, I know like the Xbox fans are gonna hate me for this, but there was just nothing drove me to buy an Xbox One. Like I received it as a gift. Nothing really
I'm gonna go
nothing stood out
A
for
tier.
me. A?
Yeah.
Like front of the thing, back
No.
of it. Oh. Yeah, like I think it was a solid system. I just
The
don't.
system was solid. It just wasn't, to me, it wasn't anything gaming wise to get it. I think this is the system they made the mistake that Sony made the year before,
Pretty
or
much.
the console before.
And I think here's the thing, and I hate to say it like this, but like every person I know that owns an Xbox One basically plays 1 to 3 games on it, and that's about it.
Well,
Like
first person shooters.
pretty much all of them. Like it's either you're playing Rainbow Six, or you're playing COD, or you're playing maybe you're playing one of the Assassin's Creed. And I hope I'm wrong with that, but like I said, every person I know that's played up until when Game Pass came out, because Game Pass kind of is what saved it up for me. With Game Pass, I'll move it up to B. But yeah, every person I knew, like if they wanted to play a game, it's like they only played like this small handful of games every time, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to rebuy it for another system, and I'm not going to repay for Xbox Live, and I'm not going to repay for all these other things. But if you like your Xbox, it's solid. I hope you like it. That's our list, everyone. If you guys want to do your own, I'll leave the link to this site and to this specific module. Go ahead and share it to my Twitter page. You can find me at SnitchesRR at Twitter or Retro and Remastered on Twitch. I'm not on there a ton, but still come in and chat. And where can they find you at?
They can find me on all socials, KWire Gaming, KWire Gaming, all one word, and YouTube channel KWire Gaming and K Ray TV. That is K-Ray TV.
All right. And again, thanks everyone for watching. If you like this, go ahead and hit that like button. If you didn't like it, go ahead and hit the share button. And, just go ahead and give us a follow on here. It means a lot. And thank you again. Good night, everyone.
Take care.